Welcome to the CiconePrince.com show starring your man, Cicone Prince. Cicone is an international recognized motivational speaker that focuses on personal development and leadership development. He does this through thought-provoking keynotes, life-changing books, and powerful group coaching sessions. Cicone is a transformational speaker, award-winning author, editor of a globally read online magazine, and conference host. Please welcome your host, Cicone Prince.
Welcome to the CiconePrince.com show. I'm your host, Cicone Prince. And this show today is going to be a game changer. I mean, you need to pick up the phone and call somebody and tell them to tune in to the CiconePrince.com show, because our guest today is going to bring the heat and the fire. You want to check that out. But man, I'm telling you, this particular show, it does a lot for me because it takes me down memory lane and really to how I got started and what I'm doing right now. You know, there are a lot of people that have made an impact in my life. A lot of people that have been an encouragement and motivation to me. And one of the people that's coming up later on in the show is definitely one that does just that. But I want to ask you, who is it that has been a motivation to you? Who's made a difference in your life? Who's poured into you and who's been the example that you've followed in the things that you're doing, whether it's entrepreneurship or even with life? Who's the person that has been the example of what it is you want to accomplish? And you know, if you haven't done so lately, I would encourage you to give them a call and thank them for their willingness to continue and keep going. Because of them, you didn't give up. Because of their example, you knew it was possible. You see, that's one thing I really loved about when I went to Atlanta to actually attend college. I had a chance to see that it was possible. People that looked like me and sounded like me and talked like me were doing things that I hadn't seen in my hometown. And so with that being said, I learned what was possible. And not only that, I started to look at myself and learn my own capabilities. I started to see myself differently. I was looking at my reflection in someone else. So there's people in your life that do that for you. They show you what's possible. They give you that encouragement that you need to go beyond just being normal and just being average. They show you what is achievable and what's attainable. But once you've done that, once you've learned that, once you see that in them, you know, then you really need to turn around and be that for someone else. That's right. You need to turn around and be that for someone else, because somebody else is looking to you for encouragement. They're looking to you for motivation. They're looking to you for inspiration, for them to be able to go beyond what they've already done. So don't take it lightly. I don't care where you are in life, what age or what stage you're in. Don't discount yourself, because somebody is watching you. Somebody is using you as an example, a living example. We have a whole lot of historical figures that we look to and we admire and look up to. But what about being able to have lunch or have coffee or have dinner with somebody that you admire or someone that admires you? What about pouring into them just as you've been poured into? We can all learn how to do that. But first, we need to fill our cup. We need to seek to do things that are going to be a benefit to other people. But we have to do that by first finding out how we can be a benefit to them. Somebody poured into us. Somebody saw something in us. Somebody encouraged us. Somebody gave us a word of motivation. And we used that to go and to accomplish great things. But now it's time for us to turn around and give back. And give back to those who have yet to get where you are. And I don't care if you haven't achieved your pinnacle of success. You can still reach back and help somebody else. And to be honest, if you really want to achieve your goal, Zig Ziglar said, in order for you to achieve your goal, help other people reach theirs. And they will, in the process, everybody comes up together. You lift them up, they lift you up. That's why I am so excited about this show, because I have a chance to do an interview with a good friend of mine who is going to show you the importance of giving back. But listen, I do want to share a video that's going to actually help set all of this up. And here's something else fresh out the vault. Hello everybody, how you doing today? This is Cicone Prince of CiconePrince.com, where we make motivation personal by introducing you to yourself. And today I'm in the Happy Entrepreneurs Tribe, giving you your Monday motivation. And you know, a lot of you may not know this, but this backdrop here was gifted to me. Yeah, somebody was kind enough to pay for it for me. These lights that I'm using for my videos, the same thing, they were gifted to me. Somebody was kind enough to pay for them. The microphone that I have, somebody gave that to me. Now, why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because these things happen because people saw me doing or going after my goals and my dreams. So my question to you is this: would someone be willing to pour into you, to give something to you? Or are you showing them enough to where they realize that you are determined to make your dreams a reality? You know, when I looked at the generosity of those individuals that actually made it possible for me to take my speaking and my videos to another level, I was humbled. But I was also reminded of how true it is that just as much as I've received, I need to give. So every opportunity I get to give to somebody else, to pour to somebody else, I don't take it for granted, but I take advantage of it because I know how important it is to have somebody believe so much in you that they're willing to invest, that they're willing to pay it forward, that they're willing to do something that they may not even see a return, but because they see you going after your goals and dreams, they are more than willing to pour into you and to pay it forward. So who do you know that's going after their goals and dreams so bad and so hard that you want to get behind them and help them? You know, I always use the example about pushing a car. You know, if you see somebody out there pushing a car, somebody will get out and help, even if they can just direct traffic to people to go around them. They may not be able to push, but they can do something. But when they see somebody pushing the car, when they see somebody doing it themselves, as opposed to somebody just sitting in the car with the hood up saying, hey, look, come push my car. No, if you're not pushing, I'm not going to push. So the people see you pushing and going after your goals and dreams to the point to where they want to get behind you and they want to help you. And then, you know, there comes a point in time to where you are the one that could be behind somebody else. You are the one that can invest. You are the one that can pour into somebody else. And not just always be on the receiving end, but be on the giving end. Hey, look, this is Cicone Prince of CiconePrince.com, where we make motivation personal by introducing you to yourself. And today I'm in the Happy Entrepreneurs Tribe giving you your Monday motivation. And I really want to know, who is it that you would get behind? Hey, look, I actually would like to share this video. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
I'm Dr. Michelle Dumas, the principal of Morningside Elementary School, and you were able to motivate not only my children, but my parents. You were able to help them to see that one day you could be the next Maya Angelou or Barack Obama. I appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Welcome back. I can't tell you how excited I am to have our guest today. He's none other than my good friend, Brother Bedford. But I don't want to steal his thunder because I know he has a whole lot of stuff he can tell you about himself. So, Brother Bedford, introduce yourself.
Well, I'm just honored to be here. Thank you. I'm with the Prince, Cicone Prince, right? So I'm thankful and honored to be with you. You've already mentioned my name, Brother Bedford. Born and raised east side of Detroit. Been an entrepreneur pretty much all of my life, and have been working to distill that information to entrepreneurs all across the world for many years. I'm most known for a product, an interview series that I did called Conversations with Black Millionaire Entrepreneurs. Started this kind of phenomenon in our little circle. A lot of our friends know me as notification of payment received, man. Where I stumbled upon this process of taking knowledge, information, your experience, your expertise, or your talents, and packaging them into digital products and selling them online, and then receiving those notifications of payment received. And so I've been doing that for about the past 25 years, man. And so I'm just honored to be with you, and whatever I can share to help your audience and to help our people to become better entrepreneurs, better leaders, improve themselves. I'm at your mercy. So thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being our guest. And I can't tell you how excited I am, because I know that you have made a name for yourself just showcasing other people. And I'm grateful that you're on our show. So I want to take a minute and just find out, what are some of the things that Brother Bedford has done over the years that has developed him into the person that he is today?
Oh man, that's a loaded question, because that also includes the mistakes too, right? So I can't divulge all of the mistakes that I've made, but rest assured that that's a part of the process. And in this thing of becoming a successful entrepreneur or business owner, or just really carving out any type of lane in life, you really can't do it without self-improvement. So I was fortunate enough to stumble into that process of studying on how to improve and develop yourself early on. And it really came from those conversations that I mentioned earlier. Every millionaire that I interview, it always dovetailed back into self-improvement, no matter what their industry, no matter what books they wrote, how many millions they made, whatever they sold widgets, if they made cars, whatever they did, they could not manifest that greatness without going through the process of self-improvement or personal growth and development. And so I was fortunate enough to kind of stumble into it along the way. But I got to be honest with you, the true, I guess, realization of how important this is as it relates to building a career or business really didn't dawn on me until really a couple years ago. I kind of had this epiphany that this is so critical, because again, you can get caught up in the strategies and the tactics, and we see a lot of people, and we hustle hard and do all of those things. But if you really want to live a fulfilled life, a satisfied life, a life that has meaning and purpose, it always comes back to you discovering your unique talents, your unique gifts, your unique skills, your unique abilities, and then cultivating them and developing them, and then sharing them with the world. That's when you truly realize how successful you can become. That's also when you realize how much fun you have, right? I know a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners who are stressed out, and it's because they're working in areas that are not their talents, they're not their gifts. So they ventured off into just becoming what we call opportunity seekers. All of us want an opportunity to make some money or to make a name for ourselves. But I would submit to your audience, the thing that has really been the epiphany for me lately is that I went back and began to learn what are my God-given talents, strengths, gifts, and skills and abilities, and focusing on those, and not necessarily strategies on the outside, but developing them and let them be my North Star and direct me and guide me to where I need to be.
Right. Well, it sounds like you just put a huge plug in for my first book, Are You Climbing the Wrong Mountain?
Yeah. I remember you and I having a conversation about that, and that, you're right, that kind of dovetails right in that. You can just be climbing the wrong mountain. So please finish. But I remember you and I sitting down having that conversation a few years ago.
Yes, sir. And I mean, I understand exactly what you're saying, because a lot of entrepreneurs find themselves, they are struggling to make a dollar, but they're not making a difference. And because they're not making a difference, they really don't have any passion in what they're doing. But you are so right, finding out what it is that you love to do, what it is you've been gifted to do and called to do, That thing that you do that does not, you don't even look at your watch.
That's right.
I mean, you could spend all day and actually you get upset when it's over. That's the thing that you can, but it has to be something that helps humanity, that moves us forward. It has to be something that's a benefit to somebody else, not just to you, but it has to be a benefit. I remember hearing Dr. Miles Monroe said that the fruit isn't for the tree. And our gifts, talents, and abilities aren't for us, but they are to serve humanity. But once we find out what they are, and we actually use those to help better the world around us, we can live a more fulfilled and happier life.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, Miles Monroe, of course, one of my great people that I love to study, a dear friend of my mentor, Dr. George C. Frazier. Dr. Miles Monroe, before he passed, used to deliver the closing remarks at the Power Networking Conference every year. So very familiar with that work, but that is so true. Just to kind of add something to that, because you mentioned it has to be for the benefit of others. You'll find, you know, and it's biblical, right? You know, God, there's a person who gives talents and then goes away to several to see exactly what you're going to use or do with those talents. And then one buried those talents. One didn't put them into the marketplace to its fullest capacity. And the one who did take a chance and discovered their talents, put it into the marketplace, not only was the reward multiplied for them, but they were also given additional talents. The talents were taken from those who hoarded and hid their talents, and it was given to the one who was willing to cultivate their own talent and put it into the marketplace. And that kind of goes into what you just said, is that once you really discover your talents, you'll find it has nothing to do with money grab. You'll find that you want to serve others, and that's really the next step. Is once you discover your natural talent, skills, and gifts, now you want to find who can you be a hero to? Who can you be a shero to? Who can you serve or be useful to with your natural talent, skills, and gifts? And as you already alluded to, your life is so much more fulfilled. You're so much more happier. And you're right, you can't even wait to get back to what you're doing. Dr. Dennis Kimbrough told me, when you find what it is that you were born to do and you're doing it, you'll never feel like you're working a day in your life, because you're actually living on purpose. So I agree with you 110%.
Exactly. So that really brings us to our next question about the stuff that you've learned, in fact, developing yourself, even the stuff that you stumbled in. How do you use that to help lead and encourage, motivate, or train other people?
You know, it's so interesting. Again, this has been Cicone, a true epiphany for me over the last couple of years, is that even when we talk about sharing it with others or leading others, again, going back to that statement that I mentioned, you have to figure out, who do you want to be a shero or a hero to? You find that once you become useful, my mother used to have a statement, and of course I understood it growing up in Detroit. In the 60s, you know, it wasn't the best of times, right? And people would always misuse people. And my mother, who's deceased now, she used to say that, you know, I don't want to be used, right? So don't use me. And then my brother, in his old crazy way, my oldest brother, he would say things like, well, everybody's put here to be used, right? And when I was young, I didn't know what he was talking about, but then now I get it. Both of those statements are true, is that you don't want to be misused, right? But the goal is to be useful. In order for you to justify your existence, you must begin to become useful to other people. So when you ask, how do you begin to help others? When you're developing your talent, skills, and gifts, and you said it perfectly earlier, the fruit from the tree is not for you to eat and consume. It's for you to give nourishment and edification to someone else. And so when you truly understand who and what you are and what your talent, skills, and gifts are, and then you discover who it is that you want to be a shero, a hero to, it makes it easy to become, I guess, quote unquote, a leader, because now you're being useful. A great leader is useful to the people that they're trying to lead or help take to the next level. And so that's really been my goal for the past couple of years, is to really always keep my eye on, who can I be useful to? Who can I help? Who can I serve? And in that, the universal law of reciprocity kicks in. So whatever it is that I'm doing, I automatically get some form of reward. And for me, it's never, I'm not counting the dollars. I'm not counting the time. I'm not doing it tit for tat, but the rewards come, as we've already said earlier, they're bountiful, right? I can't even put a number on them or price tag on what comes from the people that you begin to serve and be useful to.
Right, right. And that is so, so true. Man, I have thoroughly enjoyed this interview, but I know that there's somebody out there saying, man, this brother has so much knowledge. How can I get in contact with him? How can I follow him? How can I stay connected? How would they do that?
Yeah, the best way, I mean, there's a myriad of ways to do it, but for your audience, I would simply say, as we've already talked about, I've interviewed dozens, almost, I want to say about 150 millionaires, Black millionaires, if not more. I mean, you kind of lose count when you're just doing it. Again, when you love what you do, you're not really counting. So it's right. A part of my life now. Right. I would love to give those interviews to your audience as a gift, because that's how I learned. It's not about me. It's about if I can share what Les Brown taught me, what Dr. George C. Frazier taught me, what the great Kathy Hughes taught me, what Les Brown taught me. I want to make it, you don't need to just hear it from me. I want you to hear it directly out of their mouths. And so if your audience goes to conversationswithblackmillionaires.com, I'll just start sending them those interviews free. There's no commitment, nothing. I just want you to learn and begin to live your best life.
That is great. That is definitely great. So, man, I know that you have something huge coming up that you're a part of. Tell us about that.
Well, it's funny. And I believe you're talking about the Power Networking Conference. And I mentioned Dr. George C. Frazier. It's an interesting story of how we become friends. He was my very first interview almost 15 years ago, where I got that idea that wouldn't it be nice if someone interviewed successful Black millionaires and share that with our people so that they can learn how to become successful entrepreneurs and business owners. And Dr. Frazier was my very first interview. He didn't called down to his office. His assistant didn't think that, he would be interested in me interviewing him. But lo and behold, 5 minutes later, he called me back and I interviewed. We talked for about an hour and 45 minutes. But from that interview, a relationship was started. And I started helping Dr. Frazier accept online registrations for the Power Networking Conference. Then he personally invited me to come and start sharing what I was doing in the online space at the conference. And so I've been speaking at the Power Networking Conference for the past, I believe it's 12 or 13 years, something, I forget what year it is right now, 12 or 13 years. I've been a speaker. And I'm a part of the faculty of the Power Networking Conference, but that started from that interview, those conversations with Black millionaires. And now we have a very intimate relationship where I work with Dr. George C. Frazier, and I'm a part of the Power Networking Conference. And the global virtual Power Networking Conference is coming up very, very soon. And if you want more information about that, all you have to do is go to powernetworkingconference.com.
Okay. All right. Well, that is awesome. That is awesome. I have my own story about the Power Network Conference, and it really was a catalyst for me doing what I'm doing now. But I'll cover that in another episode. Well, listen.
It's so much, right? There's so many things that happen at the Power Networking Conference. It started so many of our careers. I mean, we have a bunch of friends whose career has been boosted by participating and engaging at the Power Networking Conference and learning how to build effective relationships and leaning into those principles that Dr. Frazier has taught all of us. And so you're right, all of us have some great stories about the Power Networking Conference. So your audience definitely should make sure that you go to Conversation with Black Millionaires, you'll hear that interview, and definitely go to powernetworkingconference.com and get your career and business started as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can't say enough good things about the Power Networking Conference. Well, listen, we are going to take a quick break and we will be right back.
The wait is finally over for Cicone's most anticipated book of the year, Leadership That Lasts, passing on 10 solid principles to ensure an enduring legacy. Powerful, effective, impactful, helpful, dynamic, phenomenal, transformative, life-changing. Available now in Amazon. Order yours today.
Man, what an incredible interview with Brother Bedford. And I'm telling you, I am so just stoked that he was able to be on our show and share that valuable information with you. And you know, that really brings me to our last word, which can be found in 1 Timothy chapter 2, verses 1. And the word of the Lord reads, I exalt thee therefore that first of all supplications, prayers, intercession, and giving thanks be made for all men. One thing about, like Brother Bedford and everybody that I've met at the Power Networking Conference, they make me stand taller. They make me stand up and just be proud of just who I am and my people, my culture, and the cause. And so even as we think about this particular scripture here, just praying for others and pouring into others. And that's one thing that Brother Bedford embodies, someone who really cares about the community as a whole. And even that launched his career, the conversations with Black millionaires. And I mean, if you haven't done so already, don't forget to go to his site and you can check out those conversations because he has some heavy hitters for sure. But listen, I can't tell you about next week's show is going, you thought this one was great. Next week's show is going to be fire, or should I say lava, because it's going to be just that hot. You got to be here to see who our guest is going to be, and you got to make sure that you tell somebody to tune in to the CiconePrince.com show. And listen, we'll see you next week. If you're watching this online, please share this. But if you're watching it on the television station, call somebody and let them know they need to be tuned in to the CiconePrince.com show. We'll see you next week. God bless. Bye.